experience and professional networks as well for future employability. So that's a big plus. You get to meet people from working in practically, depending on a program, in different work lines, and we work on real case on real life cases in the teaching. Yeah, and all the programs I will be talking about, because we have obviously different solutions at the university, but the programs I will be talking about, all of them are taught on campus, entirely in English, so they're international by default, and they really are international. So all of them have the majority of international students coming from all around the world. And there are also some Swedish students present, so you have the possibility to network, to find friends and future networks for life. And this is what we hear always, that this is one of the big pluses at this university with those international programs. Okay, the programs I will be introducing are the following. So at the School of Business, Economics and IT. Sorry, I forgot the name of my institution. We have currently 5 international programs. One is at the bachelor level, so the initial level at the university, which is International Affairs. That's the one I'm directing. And then we have 4 master programs to choose from. One is in IT and management, one is in sustainable development, work integrated political studies, and lastly, leadership in digitalized organizations. And I will go through them quickly one on one so that you can see what they focus on, what their particular profiles are. But obviously in the Q&A session, I'm happy to answer any more detailed questions. So to start with, the bachelor level program, International Affairs, it's a 3-year program, so 180 ECTS. It has general entry requirements, so you only need a regular high school diploma and some English particular qualifications that are required. Otherwise, it's nothing in particular. The main area of study is political science. And the whole program is structured so that it focuses on current global debates that are circulating in the media, that you read about in the press, and we try to incorporate them, theoretically debate them, and then connect them to practical solutions as well. During the program, you get to choose a specialization track in either sustainability or in security. And you also have one elective semester where you can choose to do some internship to get some practical experience. You can also choose to go abroad and study abroad, or study at a different Swedish university. So there's a lot of different options during those 3 years to expand on what you think is interesting. Then students that study this program and the prior iterations of this program end up working as project leaders, as analysts, administrators, investigators. So all those kinds qualified analytical jobs, both in private and public sectors. And this is what we see among the alumni. The second program, IT and Management, is at the master level. It's a 1-year program, so 60 credits. The main area is information systems. And it gives you the profile of the program is a mix of management theories and technical knowledge, which is, I think, quite unique. Students who study this at this program get often the titles of digital strategy managers or the likes in the industry. And the program has quite a strong connection to the industry. So that's how it is designed. Next is Sustainable Development Master, which is a 2-year program. So there are different solutions. This is why I put the credits in there, depending on what your interest in is. And here, the main area here for this program is work integrated learning. As I said, this is the very profile of the university. And this master program deepens the knowledge, like theoretical knowledge in work integrated learning with a specialization in sustainable development. So you get to specialize in a classical field of study, but also there is quite a strong emphasis on work integrated learning. There is one whole semester that is practice-oriented, where you can do a research internship focusing on an area that you choose. Future lines of work, sustainability officer, project officer, sustainability specialist, so all kinds of works related to sustainable development. And again, these kinds of positions are quite common both in private and public sectors, depending on the country. So various specialist lines of work in this domain. We have also a work integrated political studies master that again has work integrated learning as the main area, with a specialization in political studies. So that's the neat continuation actually from the bachelor that I was introducing before. So political studies is the core. But again, just as the Sustainable Development Master, it has a focus on work integrated learning. And again, has the same structure of one semester focusing on practical internship. And these students finishing these programs work as administrators, project leaders, analysts in different units, so municipalities, regional authorities, states at the state level, or even at the international organization level. And I forgot to say, obviously the QR codes lead you to the website where you get much more information on all the specific programs. The last one is Leadership in Digitalized Organizations. Again, a master's program in 2 years. And it has the similar structure. So work integrated learning as the main area, and then specialization in digitalized leadership. Yet again, a practice semester that students can focus on their own projects and do research internships linked to those projects. Here, you become future learning and development managers, organizational development specialists, corporate trainers, different work titles that indicate knowledge in digital leadership. So again, I mean, some specializing or specialized positions within organizations. And as you could see, the 3 last masters, they had quite a similar structure, and that's deliberate because the idea is that some of the courses are jointly put together, and then you specialize in a particular domain depending on which profile you chose. Yeah, I think that was it for the introduction of the masters.
Thank you so much. So if you'd like to ask some questions in the chat, you can. And you can ask about practical questions, how it is to study in Sweden or in Trollhättan, and I can ask my colleague or I can answer them myself. So, yep. So I can start off with a few questions for you, if that is okay.
Sure.
So how large are the classes?
So obviously it depends on the program. So at the bachelor level, we have around 100 students. At the one-year master, it is currently 30 students.
Okay.
So obviously, I mean, usually at the higher level, these classes are smaller. The other masters, because they're jointly put together, so when all the students are together, they are around like above 100, 140, I think. But then the profiles, when you have the specific courses for the profiles, it will be around, I mean, between 40 and 90, depending on the profile.
That's really cool with the difference of class sizes. So does this also lead to different types of relationships with the professors and students? Like, is it more close because you have a smaller class size?
That's usually the expected outcome.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, it is a particular, I've been teaching at many different universities, and it is a particular distinguishing characteristic, I would say, of University West, that there is a much closer relationship between teachers and students. And even if the class is the program I'm directing of 100 students, we still know all the students, and we know them by name. We meet them in corridors, and this is not usually the case at bigger universities. So I think even like the larger the groups get, this becomes harder, obviously. But we still try to maintain those relationships because we think it's really important.
Really cool. So I just wanted to clarify, there's questions if this is going to be recorded. So this will be available on our webpage, on our webinar webpage. So you can just check that out after the recording or the webinar. So the next question is, I am interested in applying for the master's program in IT and management at University West. However, I could not find detailed information on the university website about specific specialization, course contacts, and career directions offered within this program. I think we did go over that in a slide, but maybe you can elaborate.
Yeah. So I can, if you're interested, I have more detailed slides for those that are very interested. So I put together a structure of the program. So these are which lists the courses that they rate during the program. So it's a 1-year program, right? So 2 semesters. And as you can see there, during the autumn, you have 1 course that runs over the whole, like half pace over the whole semester, which is Foundations in Leadership and Information Systems. And then you have 3 courses that are shorter during the semester that you read in parallel. And during the spring, the focus is mostly on preparing and then writing the thesis, the degree project. Which is quite classic for any master program, right? So that's nothing particular. But I think the courses you can hopefully see a bit more here. And at all the program pages, you always have contact details. So there are particular people who are responsible for the program directors for the program. So if you feel that you still don't find information on the website, don't be shy and contact them.
Yes. So how is it like studying in Charlottetown as an international student? I mean, I can also answer this since I was an international student at University West a few years ago. I was also an exchange student. So I think it's really cool to be being an international student in Charlottetown because you have the closeness of the international student group, because University West does a great job at having international students together at the beginning, having activities a week before class starts so you can get to know your classmates or students from all over the world in other programs. And there's also the student union is really active at the university as well. So they have made trips to north of Sweden and Norway and Finland. So these are really cool activities to partake on as an international student, especially if you're coming outside the EU, to have like a European experience, I would say. So I don't know if you had anything to add as an exchange student in Sweden.
Yeah, I was an exchange student at a different university, so it was a different experience. But yes, I mean, I think in general, like what I see among our student groups here is that the exchange students are the ones, or the international students are the ones that are most active. For maybe obvious reasons, they need to connect. They don't come with networks when they come here, which is they're usually the most active socially, and which is great. But and I think also like one thing to remember is that Sweden obviously has a national language, which is Swedish, but English is definitely a second language for everybody. So it's very easy to get around, even if you don't have or don't know Swedish. So for an international student, I think it makes a huge difference to be able to make yourself understood in every tiny shop you enter and whoever you speak to in the streets.
Yeah, and so I noticed when I first came here that a lot of people want to practice English as well. So it's a great opportunity to you practicing Swedish, and then they can talk back to you in English. So yeah. And then on to the next question. What is the acceptance rate for the IT and management program?
I don't have the direct answer to that. So we can maybe check it and respond later.
So if you email us, so if there's any questions that we cannot answer right now, you can email us at study@universitywest.se. It's on the screen. You can just scan that QR code and ask those questions. But yeah. And so next questions. So for the Masters in Leadership, how does this program help students gain practical experience through real industry projects?
Yeah, so the very design of all of those three masters is that there is connection with external actors. As far as I understand it, the design of the courses from the start was built around cases that are taken from real life or work life experiences. I don't know exactly I'm not the director of those programs, but as far as I understand is that they both have external lectures and during the particular practice semester, as they call it, you can choose where to go and do your practice term, the internship, which gives you a very tangible work-life experience depending on what you're interested in.
Yeah, so I want to actually ask a question attached to that. So how can students find internships here during their program?
Well, so obviously as the student groups grow larger, there is a lot of competition because there are 100 other students who are at the same time looking for the internships. But we do have an officer who is trying to help, like university officer who's trying to help. So all the offers we get from different external actors, we gather them, or the person there gathers them so that they're available to the students. And then we encourage students to take individual contacts as well with different institutions that we know have a good track record of hosting students. So we try to assist, but it is very much, it's part of the experience, like later looking for a job and then looking for an internship. It's a first step into that experience. So we try to assist, but it is on the students to find those placements.
And there's also, what I've heard from students, there's networking events throughout the year that Trollton hosts and Gothenburg. So one is Opportunity Day. We just had that. So it's organized by the Opportunity Day group, and they connect employers with foreign-born folks. So that is the purpose. And it's actually quite fun because you can, you do a music quiz with people from Volvo or bigger industries, and then that's a great way to connect with people that you might not otherwise connect with outside of that. So yeah. So what kind of career opportunities do graduates from the leadership program have?
Yeah. So I was I don't remember exactly what I was listing there. So in preparing those slides, I asked the directors of those programs. It was just impossible to have so many people in the screen. So again, if you have more detailed questions, please write to them, and they're listed. If you go to the QR code, you get directly to the program page where you have those contact details. But I think the idea here is that these are different leadership roles in various kinds of organizations, mostly corporate, but not always, not necessarily. That is because the idea is to introduce the digitalized organizations as a field that we're more and more find ourselves in. So the university becomes a digitalized organization as well. So leadership in all kinds of organizations, not only corporate. So managerial positions there, so specialist positions or managerial positions in those kinds of organizations.
I can answer the next question. So it's about accommodation after you're accepted. So for all students, we have something called a bostadsgaranti, which means a housing guarantee in Trollhättan between the university, the city, and the housing company ADAR. So what you would do is you would apply through the international office, and we would give you an offer depending on when you're arriving. So if you're coming in the autumn, then you would get an offer in the summer. So and you can also look at what types of accommodation that students have gone placed in the past. Through our webpage, you can just search accommodation University West, and it'll take you right there.
And this is a big worry in a lot of bigger
Yeah.
cities. So just to say that this is quite unique.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have
Yes.
this agreement with the city and the landlord. So the next question, I think I can also answer this one. I want to know what is the next step after the webinar. So if you're interested in applying with us, you can go to University Admissions and search the program that you're interested in, or you can go to our webpage and it also, you search the program there and it will take you right to the application form. I think the deadline for applying is January 15th. So please research and also get your application in on time. So, is there a rule about how many foreign students from one country can be in a class?
No.
No.
There is no such rule.
No.
And it tends to be usually in clusters. So, and I'm guessing this is because of what you wrote there. There are groups of friends applying.
Yeah.
So it's not unusual that we get a group of Indian students or Pakistani students or some students from Nigeria, as this year in my program. So there are, it's quite common, and we don't have any quotas for countries at all.
Yes. I also want to add, so I know we're getting a lot of questions regarding this with scholarships. So we do have a scholarship only for master's students, unfortunately. I wish we could do it for bachelor's as well, but for master's, we have a 25% scholarship that's available, and you want to apply to that before the deadline. You can find that deadline on the webpage. So if you look University West scholarships, it's good to apply to that, and it also will list the requirements and how to apply there. But this is only for non-EU students or non-EEA as well. So unfortunately, we don't have a scholarship for EU students because you're tuition exempt. So this is for students who are paying the tuition for to come here. So the next question, how many lecture seminars are in a week for International Affairs program? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so again, I mean, the program runs over 3 years and has different courses on the way. So, but I would say the average is maybe 2-3 lectures per week. So 2 hours or 3 hours lectures, depending on the teacher, and then a seminar or workshop or some form of interactive engagement as well in that week. So that would be a standard. But then there are weeks that are more teaching heavy, and then some weeks are more group work, and that students are more freer in terms of lecturing time, but then they're expected to work in groups on their own. Yeah.
Is there an internship period for the 1-year program in IT and management?
No, because this is a 1-year program. There is no internship period.
Do we need to submit a motivation letter for master's programs?
I don't think so.
So what is the best way to find this out is if you go onto the program page, to the program, it will say what exactly is required. Sometimes there's motivation letters required. Sometimes it's not mandatory, but it's good to write one. I know for this scholarship, it's good to write a motivation letter there. But it's really up to you to check the program page. I think we have a lot of questions in the chat as well. I can start with this, though. So in Sweden, we work in a lot of group projects. Can you tell me why and how this works? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. And that's a comment we always get from international students. That's something also that shocked me when I came here to study here. And I think the very idea of group work is that in most lines of work, you will be working in groups. There are very few jobs where you work individually. So this is preparing you for this for the group dynamic, for the interactions, for tackling different issues and learning from each other's. So there's a pedagogical element in this. So there are always, I would say every course probably has some element of group work, and differently solved, differently, I mean, there are different tasks to be assigned to the students, but the very idea is that from working in pairs to working in groups of 4, I would say that's usually the maximum. You have a given task and then you solve it collectively, and then you're assessed individually always. So but I don't know. Anything else you wonder?
No, I think it's really great to study in Sweden or in University West in general because it is more discussion based. You're not constantly lectured by a teacher. You ask the questions, have discussions with the teacher and your classmates. And it's also really cool since we are more internationalized. We get students from all over the world with different opinions, different perspectives, which also grows your learning experience, I think.
Definitely, I agree. And also among teachers. Like we have teachers from different parts of the world as well. So that's,
So I can answer the next few questions. It's about admissions. So with scholarship, so I want to clarify with scholarship, it's not offered to everyone who applies for the scholarship. There's selection criteria. And there's a scholarship board that determines who gets scholarships or not. So we can't tell you how many students get a scholarship each year because it varies. And also for eligibility to get into the program, we unfortunately do not have that information. So the best way to know that you're eligible is by applying and seeing. This is not just a University West thing, it's across Sweden. So that's how you know if you are eligible. And if you have questions regarding language requirements, on the university admissions portal, they have a language requirement section, and you can just click on that and click on the country you're from, and then it'll show you what exactly scores and what tests University West and University admissions accepts. So we can talk more about the informal atmosphere, I guess, in Sweden. So what is the teacher-student relationship? Is it friendly or strict? Like, how do you address each other? I know that could be a culture shock for some students.
It is. So again, we're talking the average, right? I mean, we're so many different teachers, so you will get different teaching styles. And obviously, we also come from different academic cultures. But in general, for example, one thing that shocked me when I came is that you don't use titles. I'm a professor. Nobody addresses me as professor. I'm Katarzyna, right, to students as well. And this, I really like that. I think this shortens the distance between us, and I think it makes it much easier in those communicative, interactive moments in the seminars, during the seminars, in group work, and so on. So there's definitely this. And so you don't have to trace, as I had to in Poland, like whatever title all the professors had exactly, and if you went wrong, it was a really bad thing to do. So there's nothing like this. And I think additionally to that, I think University West has an even more informal way, I would say, or like more direct way of communicating between teachers and students. So I think we're much more accessible here than I've experienced at other universities where I was teaching.
Another question we got, I think I can answer this. Are there Swedish language courses offered at University West? We actually do have a Wednesday course. So this is a partnership with an organization called Kunskapsförbundet. Yeah, it's a long word, but they are a local organization that helps with studying and knowledge. So they help teach Swedish for immigrants, which is a Swedish class that's renowned nationally. So it's a public Swedish course. But this course is more on how to get by in Sweden, how to communicate effectively, and also not more like strict ways of speaking, but just casually and getting your points across. So this is offered for program students. So you don't have any, there's no other costs for this. So you just show up on Wednesdays, and it's 2 hours a week, and you can also ask the teacher questions outside of those hours. So if you want to have more homework, you can do that. I know some students want to practice more. That's really cool to see how motivated the students are here to learn Swedish. But I know this course is a really good stepping stone to living in Sweden.
And also, obviously, I mean, you will have some portion of the students will be Swedish in the classroom. Yeah. So there are always more informal opportunities of switching. Like you teach them Italian, they teach you Swedish or whatever. But also, like especially for the 3-year program, for the bachelor program, it's 3 years in Sweden. So if you want to, it is plenty of time to learn the language. Swedish is not that difficult, I can tell you. So there are ways, and we have students, graduate students, who came without knowing any Swedish, and now they work in Swedish after the 3 years at our university. So that's absolutely doable if you're dedicated.
Yes. So we got a few questions on PhD programs. So how it works at University West is it's like an employment, so it's a job. So you would have to search for it on our job opportunities page. And if you find something that suits you, of course, apply for it. So I don't know if you have anything more to add regarding PhD programs.
Yeah, I mean it probably much works similarly to any other institution. So institution in Sweden, I should say. So it's again, as Madeline said, it's a paid job. It's a 4-year program with a possibility of extension to 1 more year if you teach. And the pay is pretty decent, so you don't need another job on the side. You get to do courses as PhD courses, so you learn still as a PhD student and also write, obviously, on your own dissertation. So you can easily check usually they're profiled, the PhD positions, so they will be in a particular subject or a particular project. Yeah.
So this is related to living in Trollhättan. Do you live in Trollhättan?
No, I don't. I live in Gothenburg.
Okay, but so have you, outside of the university, have you explored Trollhättan a bit? Or?
A bit.
Okay, that's fine. I live in Trollhättan, so I can talk about it a little more. So I've lived here for 5 years, and it's a very cool town. So it's close to Gothenburg, so it's around a 38-minute train ride. So you can definitely make a trip out of it. And I know there's a lot of people who commute to Gothenburg for work as well. And so what's special about Trollhättan is it mixes the innovation, technology with, I guess, nature. So there's a lot of nature in Trollhättan, a lot of paths. I think 1 year we got ranked one of the top recreational towns in Sweden, which was amazing. But this shows that there's a lot of people who live here who want to do activities like all year round. So we even have a ski slope that you can try out. And I know students have used something called Fritidsbänken. So it's like a recreational library. That's what they call themselves. So you can rent bikes or skiing things for free. You just rent it every 2 weeks. For bikes, I know it's 1 week, but students really take advantage of this, and it's a really good way to see the city or the town and also the outside of the town, because I know people have gone on bike rides to the forests around as well. And we also have Innovatum, which is the area in Trollhättan with a lot of companies. So if you're wondering about like, oh, I feel worried that Trollhättan is too small of a town, it really doesn't feel like it, because you have all these resources nearby as well. And it's a very diverse area, I would say, especially with so many international students. They bring a lot of diversity and a lot more knowledge and experience to the town. So it used to be where Saab was. So I would say it's a really good town to start in and live in. And also I know a lot of people who like to raise their families here as well. So yeah. I can ask, so I know one of the major questions we get is from countries with a lot of sun all year round. How do you deal with the winter in Sweden?
You endure.
Yeah.
No. But in truth, I mean, the summer part of the year is wonderful. You get the sun all the time, even though it sometimes rains as well, but it's at least bright. The winter season, this is what attracted me, honestly, when I moved, because I thought it was different, and I wanted to see a lot of snow. So that was nice. But I think Swedes are really, really good at lightening up this dark period of the year. So you will have candle lights everywhere. Like, there is no single household without candlelight, not because of power shortages, but because of the coziness factor.
Yeah.
So you have them everywhere. And also they put lights in the windows, so when you walk the streets, you will have beautifully lit streets, not only from the street lights, but also from the windows. So it's actually quite cozy. I like the winter season.
Me too. I also think it's really cool that with the weather, people change the activities they do. So you'll notice that people will do more cold or winter-related activities, like going ice skating, that you might not be able to do in the summer if you don't have like an outdoor ice rink. Also, skiing, as I talked about, is a huge thing that Swedish people do. And also, a lot more people do more activities inside. So there's quizzes around, like fun music quizzes around the Trollhättan that you can be a part of. So there's always something to do in the winter, even though it might be scary at first. But you just have to realize like there's some beauty in the winter and the cold that you can't see in the summertime as well. So you have to take it with a grain of salt, I would say. Okay, the next question is regarding hospital insurance. So as a tuition fee paying student, you are covered by our insurance company. So if you have an emergency, you're covered by that. You just pay up front and then you get reimbursed. It's no problem at all. We have had students in the past with this question as well, and it's worked out fine. Your insurance also covers property. So if something breaks or something is stolen, you will be covered for that. For EU students, so non-tuition fee paying students, of course, you need to find your insurance, but for tuition fee paying students, you are covered. So we are nearing the end of our webinar. Do you have a few last words to tell any prospective students who are interested in studying?
No, I hope you explore the website. I mean, we really make an effort to put everything we can on there so that you can make an informed decision. And we, as Madeline said, I think I love the beauty of the multicultural classroom, and I think this is it's really fun. So I hope you come from far and near and join us.
Yeah, thank you so much, and we hope to see you on campus next year.